We're gonna start with the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Well, the only one we have here is Michael, and he's not a guest, he comes to all of them. So, approval of minutes from 8/1. I'll make a motion to approve them.
I'll second it.
Okay. We're gonna do an update from Michael. Town
No, you
administrator.
gotta take a vote.
Oh, sorry. I'll say aye.
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 Um,
Motion passed.
yeah.
Alright, now we're gonna do the update of town administrator.
All right, well, that was quick.
We didn't pass.
Going fast.
605 is the target.
So I'll start with Hoy's property because I was tasked with looking at the
Yes.
easement in there. And so from what I looked at, there's nothing specific about like a right of way. In his deed, this is what it says. It says it reserves, however, any rights to the town of Richford to maintain a drain pipe across said land. That's what's in his deed. And then there's, so I was like, oh, that seems a little odd. That's the only thing that's in his deed for it. And then I went to the listers, and Kim gave me a packet of what they looked up from Susan. Susan actually looked up this property in the past. And her findings was the same thing. So on their property, that's all it said for that easement. And then it went back, I think in like 1939, it was something from like the railroad that they owned. And it's the same thing. It says subject, however, to the right of the town or village of Richford to maintain drain pipes across lands shown by plan.
So it's not a spring, it's a drain pipe.
Right.
That's different. So
But-
there is no legal water rights to that because it's a drain, it's not a spring natural being.
That's all I could find on that.
Hey, Ryan.
I'm not, because I know there was questions about how if he could build his garage and where, you know,
Right.
how far he could build up to it, but there's no
So
specified, footage.
right.
But I don't know if there's like a standard for that, you know what I mean? So like if you have a drain pipe, then you have how many feet on each side that of a right of way.
Maybe
I
that's,
don't
is
know if
that
has to be
something you
specified.
know, or is that zoning?
Well, no, that would be in the bylaws. And it
Okay.
depends on your district as to how much your setbacks,
Or
From
off
the-
from a drain pipe?
well,
It's not a spring, it's actually a drain pipe.
well, I would recommend you talk to an attorney on this, but with an easement, easement should be a footage. It's, you have a 15-foot one, 25-foot, or 50-foot. And it's my understanding, but get an attorney to tell you,
Right.
that there's nothing that should be built within that, if it's a 50-foot easement, there's nothing to be
Right.
built in that 50-foot.
Did it state any type of easement footage?
No, that's
Because
what I
I
mean,
know like
that's,
what we have up to our land, we have
Just says
footage.
maintain the
it just,
pipe.
it's very, yeah, it just says maintain,
Because
that's why.
back in 1939, so they really didn't set up a.
Well, that was for the railroad property, but it also says
It just
to
kind of moved on
Hoy's,
with
it
it.
says, they reserve the right, the town reserves the
Well,
right to
the
maintain.
speculation was that it was a 50-foot
Right,
easement.
so I'm just
And the
saying.
backyard isn't even 50 feet deep.
Right.
Well,
Right.
I mean, the whole purpose of it, to keep buildings out of there,
Right.
is so that you have room to bring in whatever equipment. And
Right.
Oh,
in
yeah, no, I
1939,
understand.
in
Right.
1939, they had a little different equipment that they
Yeah.
would be using
Horse
today.
and buggy could fit in easier.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
So-
that's why you're saying if it's in there, whatever the bylaws are, and then.
Yeah,
Yeah,
check out the bylaws,
yeah, it's gotta have it so much,
For town pipes,
Mhm.
what the bylaws are for an easement.
Village residential, right?
Yeah,
yeah, it's village residential, which I think is like 15 feet or something.
Yeah, it's not,
Yeah.
It's not too much.
and if it's just from one property to the other, what was it, it was
He
15
wants to build in
feet?
the back, and that's where it is.
He wants to
The
extend off the back.
rear setback.
Yeah,
If it's 15 feet, but the pipe is, I mean, I haven't looked at the drawing, but this property isn't gigantic,
Uh-huh.
so, And whatever room we want to commandeer as a village to
Right.
take care of the problem and the pipe, whatever we're gonna do.
And the railroad station still uses that, right? The railroad?
The siding up there, I don't know. K-Tech's the only one that uses the siding, cause they get, cars full of pellets to reconstitute as plastic.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
but I don't know if they have any water requirements. It's a storm drain anyway. It'd just be like when it rains,
Yeah.
the water goes
Yeah,
through.
it's great. Okay.
So I'll just look through the bylaws, kind of see what
And
that
see what that
states,
says, yep.
and then just take it from there, I
We'll
guess.
take it
Yeah.
from
I
there.
think, would we wanna talk to Jason some about this? Because
Oh,
He's looked at it, he's been
He's
up
been
there.
there, he's looked at it a couple of times now, Scott looked at it a couple of times.
uh,
It's the sinkholes that we wanna take care of.
yeah, but I'm thinking in terms of what he wants to build. I mean,
Yeah.
how is that?
He can't build on it and on any easement.
Right,
He's already
I think that's
infringing
why.
on it already.
I
right.
think that's why
Without
we're trying
our-
to figure that out.
Out. Okay, but
Right,
again, you know, I would think Jason would need to be involved.
Oh, he is.
Whatever we need to do to maintain that,
that drain.
that drain.
The thing was tear it up and put, cause right now, all it is what, stone and block, and then dirt over top of it,
Yeah,
and the stones
because
wash away the dirt,
Yeah.
ends up making a sinkhole, and it all ends up down in the river and.
Whatever
Well,
he
it's the
wants to
same
build, if
drain
it
too
doesn't
that we're
affect
paving
our
over.
ability to maintain
Yeah.
that line.
At the municipal lot,
Would
so.
be a big deal.
Right, and we're gonna be paving over it, so wouldn't
Right.
it make just more sense just to put a regular drain pipe through?
Well, this will be my next point, for Jason said they were
Yeah.
able to, he's last meeting, it was, I think, Wally brought up that they wanted to put in a new culvert there.
Yes,
this
we were
section.
talking
So
about,
they
yeah,
did that. That was
they put the new culvert in,
100 feet of culvert behind his house, and they covered it up, and he said it needs to be cleaned up, they're gonna do that tomorrow. And then this is also from Jason, that they're doing a lot of small projects with the excavator, that's all it says. And they've been cleaning up a lot down the street. So that was his update on those.
Is that what all the little holes on my lawn are from? Oh, no, I guess that's an animal.
That's kind of the whole update on the culverts, so we replaced that.
okay.
Yeah, and, we can't really backdoor the costs of those repairs to, tie up with the park and ride grant, can we? Because it's the same drain that goes underneath.
They probably, you'd have to wait, you
Yeah.
wouldn't be able to do the construction till after you got,
I know,
So-
after you got approval, so
Yeah.
we're already done it.
yeah, it's already done.
Yeah, I got you. Just a thought.
Yep.
I hate spending money. I get some Scottish in my background.
So the next thing is, so this is something Wally brought up and Jason both brought up, would be approval to pursue a CDL course for a highway applicant.
I think we have to wait till we have a full board to act on that.
Is that what you want?
There's gonna be a delay. I mean, I was over there talking to him about it last Thursday, and,
I'm
pro-
on board with it.
yeah, but,
I know Wally's on board with it, and I'm assuming
well,
Andy probably would
um,
be too, so,
before we do it, an appropriate form has to be written up, because if we're paying for this guy's education, when it's like $4,600, then he has to stay with us for 2 years or whatever
and
it
that's what it
is.
would be, that's what
Yeah.
Carly and I were talking about earlier.
But, yeah, if she can write it up, I can
So you're
vote for it.
saying write that stuff up first before,
Yeah, I think you have to know exactly what it's gonna be and present it to the candidate. Because if they don't wanna abide by it, then you're still looking for somebody.
I think the candidate has already had been talked to a little bit, said if we
Yeah.
could come up with something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But, we already do that same type of thing with the ambulance service.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
We pay for the training, they stay with us for a year,
Mhm.
that type of thing. And,
Yeah, but that training's not as extensive or expensive.
beg to differ.
Okay, I don't know.
An EMT class now is $2,000, an A EMT class is $2,000 now.
Yeah, but this is 4,600.
Yeah.
So it's twice the money.
Right,
And the other question came up when I was over there about, weren't you guys gonna be doing some flagging training or something?
It's all done.
Oh, it's already taken
I did
place.
it last year, or
Well,
the beginning of the summer, I mean.
because we need to get the highway guys trained in flagging.
They're coordinating with VLCT on that.
Okay,
That's who did ours.
all right.
Yeah, so
Cool.
it's kind of the same thing. I got in contact
Good.
with Jason, somebody else.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
No,
step on your report.
nope, that's all.
All's good?
It's all right. So pretty much you just like to have something in writing first before you.
Yeah, I mean, it's a contract for the guy.
Great.
We're gonna pay for his school and he's
So-
gonna stay with us for 2 years.
You would make a motion that you would like a contract in place with a 2-year stipulation.
Yeah, I
of the
think
person,
that-
and
I
he
think
would
that's
pay for his
appropriate.
training. And if he ends up leaving before that, he's responsible for the whole class to pay back to the town of Richford.
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect, that's what I would bill for. You would make a motion for that?
Sure, well, you just said it, you can.
I'll make the motion for that. Do you want to second it?
Sure, I'll second it.
Okay, Alan, how do you feel about it?
I'm okay with that.
Okay, so I'll
So
say
you-
aye,
Aye, yeah,
So you're
Aye.
motioning to draft.
the contract.
a contract and then move forward with this candidate if it's all acceptable.
To
And you'll start right away.
Mhm.
And I don't know what the school entails, how many days a week or how many.
So right when I was researching it, I was talking to somebody from Richard Green, and they were saying right now it's almost as fast as they could process it.
Okay,
They used to have like set amount of hours,
yeah,
but now probably because they have shortages,
Yeah.
yeah,
but they
sure.
probably make it so as if they can learn it as fast, at their own
Right.
pace. Then
Yeah, I don't know who the guy is that they're talking to, but do you know?
I do not know either.
But, you know,
I just think it sounds like a fair deal.
oh, I think it's a great deal, and if it should happen to take any length of time to process everything, you gotta do it now because they need to
Winter.
plow the snow in November.
Okay.
You know, so unfortunately, when it snows in November, which it does,
It is.
or October,
Just try not to do that one.
So I'm just gonna make sure I got this right. So motion to draft a contract to move forward with CDL course.
Yep.
That would be.
yeah, basically
With a
an
2-year
employment contract.
Yep.
With a 2-year stipulation.
With a requirement to repay the CDL education if he leaves before that time.
Okay. So we're good there?
Yep,
So this is, actually Jason told me this last week and asked, so he would like approval to work on the electronic sign base.
of course.
Yes, it is
How
time.
about yesterday?
Okay, so,
We've all been waiting patiently.
Yeah, I don't know what, I was gonna bring that up under other business, why it hasn't started yet.
there you go. So are we gonna have a
Yes.
motion for that one? So-
Yes,
Yeah, I move that he moves forward on the sign base.
Mhm.
And he's given us a bid for the work, or he's being paid to do it on town time.
yes,
And we have a bid for the materials, or
yeah.
I wanna say $900, but don't quote me on that.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, but it's fine, yeah, let's do it. I mean, the sign's sitting in the village barn for the last 3 months,
Yeah, we need to get it done.
absolutely.
So anyone second that?
I'll second it.
Then that's, is everyone okay?
Oh, everyone say aye? Who
Aye,
says aye, should say? Aye.
All right.
Did you have the highway report?
Do I
You
have-
had the
no.
highway report?
I think he
That's-
texted me
yeah.
was
That's
pretty much,
basically it?
yeah, but I'm not done yet.
Okay. Oh, okay,
So
sorry.
this is what, Joey gave me the monthly report for July for ambulance service. I did not make copies, I forgot to.
that's
No.
okay.
So just pass that along if you all wanna read that.
You already got one of these, don't you, anyway? So,
She gets a weekly report.
she needs extra paper at her house to tear up to make notes. So it's still going
And we're
up
still-
10%, or
We're
a
still
little
up,
more,
yeah.
yeah,
About 500, about 50 calls.
yeah.
Nice.
Last month was a little slow. We dropped 2 for the total month, but we're still at 50 for the year.
And what about those trips back from the hospital?
Still doing them whenever they call us.
Okay,
We're doing anything that they call us for.
but you're
that's
not
necessary.
getting them all, right?
We're only getting what comes back to Richford.
Okay,
We don't do any other towns.
that's good though.
And we will go to UVM if needed
Mm-hmm.
from Northwest if it's a
Yeah.
patient we brought in.
Yeah, I got you. Very good. I'm sure you know the way.
They've been
Too
awesome.
much.
Alright, and then one last thing, this is just for a reminder, tomorrow we're having a vision workshop, Thursday, 6 p.m. NRBC would like to see select board members go, and I said,
I'll be there.
they'll be all,
Consider that an RSVP.
alright.
My wife will not be there. I tried to encourage her.
I don't know.
I invited Donald and
It's at
Judy
6,
Noyes
there's
this
pizza and
morning.
soda. It's not open to, it's open to the public to come, but it's not, the bar's not open.
Non-alcoholic drinks.
The bar might open, who knows?
After.
Oh, okay, well,
Scott said maybe after.
you're gonna need to drink after you see the proposal.
So,
Just kidding. Oh, and I set it on camera on top of it.
so that is all I have then.
Okay,
Yeah, I had something and I don't remember what it is. It's okay, it's good. Probably the sign, that's good.
okay, buildings report, he's waiting to get a second lift so they can, a crane to be able to get the stone back on the roof down there. Besides that, it's pretty much all tied up.
So,
I'm still working on bids for the job for the roofs. Everybody I've talked to, they say yes, and then it's weeks later and they still haven't got one.
For which
For
roofs?
the roof at the fire station is one that needs to be replaced. Paint jobs over here at the library. I have one bid. I've asked
Yeah,
other people, I haven't got any of theirs yet. It's like trying to pull teeth, trying to get bids from people, because people are really busy. The people that
Yeah.
are working are very busy. They're already so busy, they don't have room for any more. Post office, the back ramp, waiting for a second bid.
you talking about the loading dock?
Huh?
You talking about the loading dock?
Yes,
Okay.
so we're still waiting on a second bid for that, but it's the same thing.
a lot of those things are gonna have to take place, at the post office to entice a credit union. So,
Yeah. Well, the back
Well, this
ramp
is for the post office.
is for the post
Directly
office
from the
side.
Post office.
I understand that, but there's still gonna be access issues, if the credit union's gonna go there, because there's a ramp on the other side, but it goes up to the, post office, and the post office closes at lunchtime for an hour. So how do the people get to the credit union side?
The
ADA
doors don't-
compliance.
Those doors don't, they shut down that gate, don't they?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
but
what
you
we-
can't
Yes,
pass
you
all the
can.
way through.
Yes, you can. You can go get your mail at 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah. You can.
On that side,
Yes.
but you can't access it from a ramp if
Yes,
I'm
you can.
Yeah, you can.
ADA.
It's all
How?
open. It's all open.
Right through that door, right straight through the lobby and into the other side.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
I thought they locked the inside doors.
No, the only
In
thing they
addition
do,
to
they
pull
have
down
metal,
that garage door,
grate,
yeah, okay,
That's the only thing they do at lunchtime.
all right.
And then the
Well,
side
because
doors
I've
are-
seen it locked before, but,
Yeah, I don't think
I
they
don't
do that anymore because it's the superintendent's office.
yeah, I don't know.
They shouldn't be doing that.
It's all good.
And we can always just request if they don't.
Yeah, exactly,
They
but
have
it's
the other
just
one they can close.
another detail,
Right.
Yeah.
mister.
And I do have someone putting together a quote, they put a quote together 2 years ago for me for repairs to all the ceiling damage from the leaking roof for the post office. They are working on revising it, of course, because everything's gone up in cost.
How much of this
So-
stuff is budgeted?
As far as the inside damage, I'm hoping the insurance will take care of it, because it was caused by the leaking roof. Like they did at the fire station, they took care of the inside damage, they wouldn't take care of the roof itself.
But we've already filed that claim,
For,
interior damage at the post office.
No. They told me to, after everything is all said and done and fixed, then send her the stuff.
For the insurance claim, okay? I'm
But the
not
roof-
questioning what you're
but the
doing, I'm
roof-
just saying,
The roof
you
didn't
know,
qualify for anything
Okay.
because it was lack of maintenance, is what
yeah,
they said.
negligence.
Yeah, probably a few axe marks into the ice on the roof is probably what did most of it, but.
I got you.
Fire station, they said the roof was installed wrong, that's why they would cover it. They used metal screws on metal to wood, and they used wood screws on metal to metal. They used the wrong screws in the wrong
That's
areas.
pretty smart
That's
of
why
them.
after so long, they started to lift and change and.
Who built that building?
Mhm.
Who
There's a
did?
big sign in the fire station going to all the engineers right in the back wall.
Oh, no, but I think it was built by locals, wasn't
Parsons
it?
was part of it.
Dan Parsons, yeah.
Yeah. There's a bunch of other people.
So anyway, it's being
It's
fixed.
okay, yeah, good.
We got quotes and stuff and get it, but it's lasted, what, 25
I'm
years,
just,
30
I'm just
years?
very
You guys
concerned
remember?
about finding the
Over
money
the
for
fire
it.
station or over the other
Yeah.
side?
On both sides.
That's
That's
why,
gonna be a big roof.
how
There's a
current
lot
is
of
that?
metal.
Mhm.
All this a couple weeks old.
Okay, yeah, I'll ask for a
So,
report
as,
from Kylie tomorrow.
as far as the buildings, that's where I'm at. Is all of it budgeted? No, because I had it budgeted for this year. But the roof was supposed to be done last year.
I know, but we
About
rolled
half
that
of my
over.
budget, we
Yeah.
rolled over, we paid for half, and the rest of the budget went to the grand, went to the rest of the amount of general fund.
Right.
So I couldn't save it for this year, so when I budget, some of it has to pay for the rest of the roof right now. Hence why I didn't wanna lower my budget.
No, but
There's a
you
lot of
think
work
you
to be
have
done.
money there.
I do have
Well,
some, but I don't have enough to do it all.
Oh, you have
So I
to
got a wish
somewhere.
list and find it somewhere.
Okay,
Okay, water and sewer. Alan, do you have anything? No?
I've been trying today, to chase V-Trans about the pumping situation at the, temporary sewer, over in, the 105 replacement.
Yep.
And let me tell you, I mean, we're getting beaten up bad. We did a re-engineered drawing that the state rejected and nobody told us. And that might cost us an additional $40,000 to empty all of that sewer waste. There's a 1,500 gallon tank, and Dylan's pumping it probably 3 times a day. And but his truck will hold 4,500 gallons. If we had a 5,000 gallon tank there, they just pump it out and then make one trip. That's what it's costing us money every trip he makes there. So he charges us a different fee for weekdays and weekends and holidays. There's 3 different rates.
Yep.
And it can't be, the state's gotta have some culpability for this. And you know, they don't wanna say anything. And we're paying for the delays with St. Ange because it's just not happening. But it's a state project, so we don't have any say. We budgeted $60,000 to make those repairs. And boy, it might end up being a $100,000 job when we're all done. And I don't think that's acceptable, you know, because we don't have a say in what's happening with it, because it's a state process. And we've participated as much as we can and should have, but, you know, I get the runaround. I've made some contacts through the Transportation Advisory Committee, and so, because people from V-Trans go to those meetings, and I'm working with Bethany. I talked to her late this afternoon, after you sent me that email about the rail trail. So, and you can put that in your report too,
Yeah.
that we're moving on the rail trail. There's gonna be a meeting in early September at John Weatherby's convenience, because he's responsible for the 2 properties to get the easements on this end. And if we can get that, then we can accelerate the process and hopefully over the winter, go out to bid, you know. And
So who still left the easements from, just John?
no, there's
I think it was
that
like
one,
4 or 5.
Cropolis, I think,
Yeah.
and
Greenwoods.
Greenwoods and Pat Stanley,
Pat Stanley's on the,
the firework
stick?
guy, yeah, the hockey stick grant.
okay.
And that's unfortunately, I think, gonna be a legal question. But it's in the works. I mean, it's been dead in the water for another year, and we gotta move on it. I mean, the money's getting dusty.
Yep.
You know, and it's a tangible result that people are gonna see for improving Richford.
Yep.
And I'll bring it up tomorrow too at the streetscape thing, even though it doesn't really apply, but it's still Main Street. you know, for a good portion of it, so,
Sounds good.
yeah, no, it's good, it's starting to move, but I wish I had better news on the sewer situation down at 105 there. But
It's what
It's,
we can do.
yeah.
Parks and
And
playgrounds.
actually, I got one more water and sewer thing. I was looking for the easements for the new pipe. I've been working with cemeteries this week, and because we're getting Henry Haggerty's project up at Richford Center taken care of with the grading and the gravel. And the topic of the easements for the new water line going up Golf Course Road. You familiar with that project? A little bit? Well, we own, the town, and I can't check out with the listers because they're off this week, but the town owns a strip out front, like where that mausoleum is, that's town land, I think. And so, they don't use the mausoleum anymore, apparently it's not cold enough or whatever, I don't know. But the building could be used as a pumping station. You don't even have to build anything if the pipes go there, you know, and it's on town property, so we don't have to secure an easement from Hillside. Although it probably crosses the access road, or I'm not sure what the situation is up there. You know the place I'm talking about. Right in front of the cemetery at street level as opposed to up the hill. And at one time, we had heard that the mausoleum roof was leaking, but I checked with Slim and he said, no, it doesn't leak. And he says that building's in good shape. And I walked around it, it's got a 2-inch moss roof, you know, but, so it may leak under that, you don't know, but it's water anyway, you know, so, but anyway, that's just my trip to water and sewer this week.
Now we have a trip to parks and playgrounds and cemeteries.
Not much happening. Kayak rentals is still going great.
Awesome.
Had 4 more go out this morning. Group of teachers getting it in before they get back to school.
Cool.
I went ahead and okayed a couple of overnights for Thursday that it's actually Canadians, and they're gonna get they'll sign the paper and everything.
Yeah.
And I think they're taking them to Carmi or something, I don't know, but they wanted to bring them back the next day, and I said, I don't see a problem with that. You know, everybody's real good with it. It's, and they're just amazed that it's there. And if you could put a little blurb out about it, because I don't think there's enough people know that. There's not enough people that know about the Notch Bicycle Shack, okay? And that kind of people are coming to town, and I tell everybody that we give a kayak to, I say, tell your friends, it's free, you know, and we provide all the personal safety, you know,
Right,
the
helmets,
vests and no helmets, but we give them vests and they can get a whistle if they
Yeah.
are so inclined that they might get separated from their group. But it's
On the lake, you need it sometime.
yeah, no, it's but that's going great, and I guess the word that I'm hearing from Recreation is that you're gonna keep the rink over there, hopefully acquire this new trailer, and that'll be really good. We're gonna have to, I think, determine some type of a volunteer maintenance schedule. We were very lucky last year to have Tim shoveling it and doing those kinds of things. It's something we should think about.
Yep.
And maybe there's some kind of stipend we can pay him or something, you know. They would do it for free. He did it for free last year, but wouldn't it be good to, you know, throw the guy $100 or a couple of gift certificates for town, you know, like to the market, so the money stays here anyway. And with that warming hut, with that trailer, that'd be good. And when they break down the rink, they can just put it in the trailer and drive it away.
Yeah.
And so,
That's, yeah.
I talked to the rec, some of the people on the rec committee, and I said, I'd like to see some events down there related to the ice thing. Maybe there's a Christmas skate, you know, and I told them I'll even put my Santa Claus suit on and walk across the street, you know, if that's something
Right.
that's appropriate, or, you know, just play Christmas carols out of the gazebo or whatever, and make it a family thing. I'm sure that there would be some organization in town looking to raise some money that wants to do a hot chocolate and pastry thing or whatever. Yeah, even, you know, just on the side, and
Yep,
give them a little something to eat. And
no, that sounds.
I think also for events, there may be something tied out to Valentine's Day. You know,
Yeah.
that's a big, you know, hey, let's go skating. Oh, it's a big romance thing, you know.
Okay.
But anyway, they replaced the pole at the playground.
Nice.
We got the final bill. Slim gave us all his hours and stuff, and
Yeah.
and that's going to be paid. I'm not going to say who's paying it because they don't want to
Right, oh, God, no.
receive the publicity.
No, we're good.
But it's, and I gotta talk to the phone company, maybe, if this board wants me to. Apparently in that building, there was a landline that ran into the building, okay? And there's also Wi-Fi cable in there, because they need it for like the play, for the park in the summer, and for the camp, and
Yeah,
you know, which is good. I don't have a problem with that. But the phone line's cut, so they don't have a phone in there now. And I'm thinking,
do they use that?
do we need to provide a phone for what reason?
No, they all have cell phones.
The responsible people that are going to be there have cell phones. Yeah, I mean, I was thinking for an emergency in the old days, you'd have a phone.
Right hand,
But
yeah.
but now you know, I don't have one, but everybody else in the world has one. You know, so how's the board feel? Should we just
I'd say you don't need to
not?
call
I
down
don't think
there.
we do.
Anyone who's ever called anybody that, for
Yeah.
calling me about kids or anything like that, has
Yeah.
always been on their cell phones.
Yeah, right.
They all carry cell phones.
Do you think
for
we need
emergency
it down
'cause
there
of
for
walk.
any reason? It doesn't drive credit card machines or anything. You don't need that anymore. If like someone was operating a concession stand, they just get like a
Too bad
square
Subway
or
was
whatever.
when they play games down there, but.
Yeah.
I can't think of a reason why we need it. I know a few years ago, something happened to the line, and we had to get it fixed. Somebody needed it, but I don't remember.
Was it related to the cameras at all, or?
It might have been the cameras.
Yeah. Because that's all on
I
the same
don't-
line. The cameras are back in place, but they're not
But I don't.
fully operational yet.
Yeah, I can't recall actually, but
Okay.
there used to be a reason we did need that line.
Okay. Well, I can call them, and you know they're just going to charge you $100.
What about-
I'm not. It's not my meeting. Sorry.
Yeah.
She has to recognize you.
Yes,
What about insurance? Would it have any impact on your insurance? Not having a landline?
I'm not sure. Michael, would you look into that?
Yep, so I can do that.
Good question. I mean, but in this day and age, I mean, people don't even have landlines. I do because I have a business.
And was the phone even available to the outside? Was it just inside the building, which was always locked?
No, I don't think it was like an intercom thing. I think it was, you could dial out on a
Right, but
phone.
inside the building, the phone's inside.
Oh, yeah, yeah, so you
Locked up.
have to have access to it, so anybody that has access to that building is a pretty responsible person,
A teacher.
and they're gonna have a phone of their own.
Yeah,
That was my point, but, I mean, that's a good question about the insurance, though, I don't know,
yeah, if you wanna check into that,
and,
and if you wanna check into the, cameras, if that's what. you need.
yeah, no, it's happening,
Okay.
we're gonna get, a bid together, we didn't get it yet, right, Michael?
What?
The camera bid, that includes the
There.
water plant?
There's a couple different ones out there.
Yeah.
I don't know specifically, we probably have to ask Kylie about that.
Yeah, no,
And,
she,
and it was budgeted, so we just
Yeah,
gonna have to pick which
absolutely.
one
Yep.
and go with it.
and it's a minor repair down there, they
Yeah.
didn't break any of them, they just, you know,
Sure did.
fell off on the side when
Yeah.
the
Happens.
So anyway, yeah, that's what I know, working a lot in the cemeteries, like I was saying. Met with Henry Haggerty, we're doing the grading up in Richford Center. We have a number of cheap bids and a number of more expensive bids, believe it or not, and it's like, we're probably just gonna get Alfred to do it. Donald Noyes was contacted, he's got a Wrangler rake is what they call it. Wrangler's the manufacturer of it. And he said, one of the big problems is they got that big hump there, you know, from all the years of traffic and stuff going through there. And he said if he takes that Harley rake to it, it just goes away. You know, he grades everything around the whole place. Slim has already dropped a load of dirt for the low end that we need to do, and I gotta check into the gravel prices, because apparently we use different styles of gravel. That I checked here, and we're paying $16 a yard for some gravel, and Slim tells me he gets gravel for $9 a yard. You know, so it's a pretty good discrepancy, because it's up there, you might need 25 yards, maybe more. And I talked to Henry, I said, I don't think the town really wants to carry the total expense. He said he'd split it with us, or that's what I suggested.
Yeah.
Or you know, he's gonna get it without having to pay. He's the one that sourced Alfred on it, and he got a quote from Alfred, so I might just make him pay for that. They got money, I mean, it's, they sell plots, they get money,
Right.
you know, so. And he's getting the fence repaired up there by, I think he said, Virgil Wilson's doing it for free,
Nice,
because he's got some people buried in there,
nice.
so, yeah. So that's all happening, and I'm getting the cemetery education, like who's responsible for what grounds. And I guess it's, you probably know this, is it Evan Mercy has oversight up at Hillside?
Used to be, I don't think he does it anymore.
Okay, and I haven't called him yet, but I will. And what happens up at like South Richford and
Which one?
the cemetery up there, that's the one on Privy Road, right? It's the old Snyder's Cemetery, I think.
There's no association that I know of up
Yeah.
there.
And
We simply maintain it.
okay, yeah, it's in the mowing contract and stuff. But you know, they're more and more rural. Same thing with East Richford.
Yeah.
You know, it's half in Canada anyway. But and I researched that other one on Corliss Road going. It's actually in J. It's further down, and so we got no responsibilities for that. And I guess Catholic Church takes care of the Catholic cemetery, right? So
We don't have anything to do with that.
yeah, alright. So anyway, now that I've bored you all with gravel stories and cemetery stories.
Okay, on to other business. Did you have anything? No?
No.
Joey, you have anything?
Nope.
I think you're all set. I have one thing I wanted to bring up. We had talked about communication and emailing and keeping everybody updated, right?
Yep.
I sent out 2 emails about the sheriffs, because we voted on adding 3 nights a week with that money.
Yeah.
And I put out an email to everybody on the board about setting up a meeting with them.
Yeah, and you don't want me there.
Well, but nobody replied to my email, not one person.
Oh, we talked about it in here.
Not one person replied to the email about setting up a meeting. And I sent 2.
Well, I saw one that was, anyway, but
Yeah, I'd like to go
What they
ahead
go-
and
well,
set up a meeting.
you're gonna have trouble because they're claiming with all this Grismore nonsense that they don't have time for it.
Who
You know,
said that?
what's that? The sheriff's department.
They said to who though? Who contacted them and talked to them? I didn't hear anything.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong.
mean,
I know that the deputies are gathering around.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but now, today you heard that it's a demotion, and that's the only thing.
That's what I heard. I don't know if it's 100%. It's through the grapevine. Everybody hears.
We can have a meeting. I
I'd like
still,
to sit down
I
with
still
them
think
and add 3
that
nights on.
we're
like
buying a
this.
service that we don't wanna pay for.
The reason I didn't respond was because I don't think we're ready for the meeting with the sheriff. I think the select board, before we have this meeting, I think we need to decide what we're going to, I don't wanna say ask for, but
But that's exactly what you want.
demand
Yeah,
at this meeting. I don't, the last meeting kind of was everybody got a chance to give their opinion, we identified what the issues are.
Right.
Now, I think the board, when they go into this next meeting, it
Mhm.
needs to be a very formal meeting where when we sit down with them, I think it needs to be a meeting where we tell them what we need, that we're paying for this service, this is what we got to have.
Right.
But before we can do that, I think this board has to be unified in what we want to tell them
Yeah.
we need. And I know at the last meeting, you were talking about wanting day shifts, Tim wanted night shifts. I think some night shifts would be good, but whatever, I
Right.
think before we meet with the sheriff, I think this board needs to decide what it wants, and then when they meet with the sheriff, we
Right.
don't
there's an
ask
agenda
them.
that
Right.
says, this is what we want.
My email stated to this is what we had voted on. And
Yeah.
all of us voted yes on adding
I
3
saw one
nights
about-
a week, adding 3 nights a week to what we already have.
Right, but,
So 3 nights a week, because we got that money back from them, would
Yeah.
cover someone for 3 nights a week.
I got you.
I don't care how we got the money
I
back, but we
got
got the money
I
back
got you.
to cover 3 nights a week to the end of the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Then school starts up and automatically the school is paying for a police officer to be in town all of
I
that.
understand.
Then we're getting 5 nights a week at 40 hours.
Right,
So that little bit of extra money that we used to have in the budget for the policing to have a police officer
I
here
understand.
during the week, we still
I
have 5,
agree with
40
you
hours at night.
totally,
So
okay,
then,
but
okay, you're
but-
agreeing, so then why
but
don't
they're
we set
not-
it up?
because they're not going, we brought it up at that other meeting, and we
Yeah,
don't
but-
have a formal list. See, to me, the meetings, they know the dance steps, okay? And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, they're a for-profit business, okay?
Right.
And, that doesn't necessarily have our best interests at heart. Of course, they're to serve and protect and all of these kinds of things, okay? And they do a good job.
Right, but they're paid
But-
for 40, they're here for 40, and
Right.
then they're off shift, they go home and throw their hats in the closet.
Yeah, whatever, but
But that's what
But-
they do, that's what their jobs are.
I
Like my
understand.
job, your job, this job.
I understand that. But what I'm saying is, if we can't tell them when we want them, I mean, last week, there was a night deputy. I saw 3 traffic stops in front of my house, you know? And they were all vehicle stops. And there were some of the problem vehicles in town that are doing brake stands on Main Street and they're
Yeah.
driving unregistered vehicles and this kind of thing. It's, to me, I'm in agreement with Alan, it has to be a very, very structured meeting.
Right,
We have to know exactly what we're going to ask for. And if they can't make it, then maybe we have to adjust our contract.
right. But what we voted on was to add 3 days.
That's fine.
Right.
You don't need a meeting to do that.
Right, that's what we need to get hold of them though, to ask them to come in and do it.
But I'm saying, before we have this meeting, we need to decide, okay, we're gonna tell them, this is what we
Right.
have to have. Night shift, Friday, Saturday, Sunday,
Right.
day shifts, Tuesday, Thursday, whatever.
No,
It needs to-
what we voted on was keeping the first shift 40 and adding 3 night shifts with the extra money
Well,
we
if
got.
we add 3 shifts, again, whatever it turns out to be,
Right,
we need to be.
We don't want Tuesday night shifts.
what I would want is a
How about-
rotating shift.
How about our current
I want a
schedule that
rotating.
has no coverage on Saturday and no coverage on Sunday? And so I've just beat the drum for all the criminals in Richford to go out on Saturday night and commit crimes because there's no police here.
Right, my suggestion would be is a rotating shift. 1 week they'd be here Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Next week they'd be here Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
That's fine.
You see what I'm saying?
Well, but
but never knowing
They
which
don't,
day is which.
they don't know, and they're currently dictating the schedule to us. If you're gonna have a meeting to say that you wanna add these, then like Alan's saying, you gotta say, this is when we want them, whatever
you guys.
days, whatever. We're paying for the extra shifts, they claim that they have the deputies, so send them when we want them. That's all. I mean, it's a sour taste in my mouth, but we're paying a lot of money for limited coverage to begin with, and it always seems to be bad timing,
Right,
you know, and even, they lied to us at that meeting. They said, when I talked to them after the meeting, they said, oh, you're gonna see improvement, there's a lot of drug cases that we're gathering information on, and some thefts and burglaries and things like that. Well, at the meeting, they told us they take the drug information, they turn it over to the task force. So it doesn't complicate their time with it. Why are they telling us, oh no, they're working drug cases for you? And they may be gathering information, but that's not what we're paying for, because they pass it along anyway. They turn it over, they told us at that meeting. Unless they just lied to our face.
right, they do turn it over to other ones, but they're in joint with all these other police.
It's not other agencies, it's the sheriff's department drug task force.
Right, they work together with
Right.
the cops that are walking the beat, the cops that are out in their vehicles, cops that are in all these little towns. You got some in Swanton, you got some in here, you got some there.
No,
They
I
have to
understand
stay
that.
in touch with each other. The drug doesn't start and live just in Richford, it doesn't
No,
live
I'm not saying
in
that,
each
but
town. It travels through all the towns, so they all have to work together. And they
If-
have to have a task force in the middle of them, because if not, it's like the Richford, we have a ton of committees, but then we have the select board, that's the middle of the hub. Task force is the hub, everybody else works around and comes to us.
see, I disagree with that. Because they're telling us we're paying for the drug task force.
No, that's not exactly what
Well,
they said.
that's what they're telling us,
No, they're
that they have.
collecting information and they are working on this. It doesn't mean that that's the only
This
thing
is
they're working
exactly
on.
the kind of thing
Yeah,
we can't
that's
have
why
in our
we-
meeting with the
right.
sheriff. We need to be,
That's right.
we can't, it's a waste of time
Right.
for us to meet
I-
with the sheriff and have discussions amongst ourselves and.
I know, we don't
debates
know
amongst
what we want
Right.
as a group. I
We need-
agree.
Figure out what we want, meet with the sheriff, tell them specifically what we
Well,
want.
then
we
we're
don't
gonna be
need
back in the school year, so we'll just throw that 22,000 back into the budget.
No.
That's where we're gonna be, because we're already 2 weeks, 3 weeks past
That's
where
not
we
what
were.
I'm saying. We don't need a meeting to tell them we want additional shifts. We do it all the time in the past, when we had other money in the budget. We just call them and say, it's a holiday weekend, give us 2 deputies this weekend. Okay, for 8 hours on these 2 days, or whatever. And they provide them. Or you tell them, like you said, we want 3 additional nights per week.
Yeah.
And I don't care what they are, I think they should be
I think,
related to the weekend.
I think
but
they should be related to the weekend, but I think it needs to be rotating somehow.
That's fine, but what I'm saying is, we
People
don't,
know when cops are in town,
we don't-
immediately, and they all disperse.
we don't need a meeting with them. Believe me, they're gonna take our money. They're a for-profit organization. If we call them and say, hey, we want a deputy, and we'll pay you however much a shift costs,
Yeah.
you know, we can just do it.
Okay, I'll go hold
But-
them tomorrow.
I'm concerned because of the,
If we want to sit down and
Police.
redo the contract with them, we can do that as
No,
a group and
we're
stuff,
not-
but adding these 3 days is more important to do it now.
yeah,
To
of
solve all the
course.
issue, than wait until we have another big meeting with them and another big meeting and get
Well,
all
that's what
our
we're saying,
information
we don't
together.
need a meeting to schedule these people.
Yeah, so
They like the money, I'm sure, you know, and it's,
If you can get me the number, I'll give them a call.
it's,
We'll work on it.
well, that's
Thank you.
another problem I still feel that this board has. And I shouldn't bring it up while we're only 3 members, but, having anybody and everybody contacting the police doesn't work. Actually, it should probably be Michael that calls them, cause we can filter everything through him. He's here all the time. I'm not trying to take it away from you,
No,
you're more
that's
than
fine.
welcome to call him, but if they're hearing from 5 select board members and a town clerk and a town administrator for different things, you know, it's like they discount a lot of the information that's provided to them,
Yes, they do.
and they don't act on it because we don't have a point of contact.
I pretty much can talk to all of them almost every day
Yeah.
at my store, because they're in and out at any given point in time, from border patrol, state police, and the sheriffs. I see them all the time. I have no problem in contacting them and talking to them.
Oh, no, I'm not trying to, I'm not saying
I-
it's a problem, but as a group, like, I shouldn't have run off willy-nilly and chased V-Trans and argue with the state about this water project, you know, but
Right,
it's sitting out there and we're not moving on it, so I did.
right.
The police is kind of the same thing, that you can contact them, but you gotta be, we're paying for these extra people, you have to be a little forceful and say, we don't want
Forceful
an
is not
extra
an issue.
Thursday afternoon. Yeah, no, I think Marcel's great. There's no question in my mind, the guy's fantastic,
Yeah.
okay? But we don't want them to say, oh, well, you know, we got a Friday day shift that you're not covered, why don't we give you that? No, we want Friday night.
We want 3 nights.
Yeah.
We want 3 nights, that's what the money's for.
And you can tell them
That's
you
what we
can
want.
rotate them, whatever, I don't,
Rotate them around, but we do want weekends for sure, if one day or versus
So,
another day,
I would-
but we want somebody here.
I would make a motion then that you contact them,
Okay.
unless you want Michael to do it, but,
we can work on it together.
okay,
Yeah.
that's
We'll
fine.
take care of this together.
And, make it happen, I mean,
Is there a
as soon
second?
as possible.
Is there a second? You feel comfortable with, just adding the 3 night shifts, it has to be night shifts.
According to our agreed schedule.
Right,
They're not gonna give us a
right.
Monday morning and a Sunday afternoon and
We're
a,
already covered, and school's gonna be starting in 2 weeks.
I know.
So it's not
actually,
really
it
much
starts
time.
late this year, I think the 30th.
Yeah, the 31st.
31st.
Yeah, so I guess that is 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, it's 2 weeks.
Month is going
And we could have
fast.
been having the extra night coverage 3 weeks ago.
Yep. Did you get all that, Michael?
I think so.
I think we voted positively even though we didn't vote.
Okay, everybody say aye? Aye. Close enough. Is there anything else from anybody?
Not at this time.
Alan? Okay. We wanna put back on the agenda at some point though, for the select board to sit down and look through the police contract. Review what we all feel about it and stuff.
I think it's a special meeting
Yes,
amongst us.
yes.
It's not gonna be at a regular meeting.
No, it's gonna be an executive.
And, I don't,
Just us.
I don't know that,
Just the select board to sit down and review and get on the same page.
I mean,
of
we
where
can
we're
get out
at.
of the contract, but I don't think we wanna
I
get
don't
out
want
of the
to do that.
contract. That's what I'm saying, so I'm not talking about reviewing a contract, I'm saying take the initial document and decide what we want, what we're paying for.
I think we need to have just a special meeting, an executive meeting for all of us. And then we can review all this and go over it and all of us can share what our opinions are. And maybe come to the same.
It's gonna be a long meeting.
Stop it, Tim.
There's significant disagreement amongst the board on what we're looking to do. And I'm not trying to
No, no,
light
no.
that fuse or anything, but I can't bring myself to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for it's like, you wanna sell me a broken down truck for $50,000, I'm not gonna buy it, okay? Because it's not what I'm looking for. Unfortunately, there are very few options.
There's no other options. at this
Well,
point. We looked into a lot more a couple of years ago, I
I know,
believe.
I know.
And we just ran into wall after wall after
I
wall.
agree.
And we ended up with, what, 3 to 6 months with no policing at all?
Yeah, because you cancel the contract.
Mhm.
So that was a past board, I
Yes, I know.
don't agree with that,
Nope, I
because
do not either.
if you want people to feel safe coming to
Right.
Richford, you need a security blanket for them, whatever it may be. And
I think we do need more enforcement here in town.
I agree, we need more enforcement everywhere.
Everywhere, not just in this
And
town, all towns. I
What
can
we
agree
also
with that
need
too.
is, education,
Mm-hmm.
or informing these people, you know, some of them, they don't give a hoot, they're gonna do whatever they wanna do, you
Yeah.
know, and that's unfortunately what takes place here, and it's no joke when they said at that meeting, there's a Facebook page or something, and they announce the sheriff has left, you know, Elvis has left the building,
Yeah,
and so,
yeah,
Then-
and it's sad.
and it's active. I mean, every day they'll say, I don't know if the guy's house is down, you know, the bottom of Carpenter Hill or something, and he says, oh, sheriff just left. You know, that is a pretty sad thing.
Mhm.
And
But it's not just here, it's in all towns,
I
all
know,
like that.
I know, but it's not much of a sore point with me. I really, it just kills me to pay for something that you don't want.
I personally would like our own sheriff's department here in town, but that probably isn't gonna happen because they're very expensive, so we have to settle with what we can get.
Well, there's a lot of
And work our hardest on getting
there's
the
a
best
lot
we
of
can.
mixed feelings on that too. The past private services here had an awful lot of issues.
I know this.
And I
You're up
wasn't
here,
here
I
then.
know.
I wasn't here, it was before I was here.
Yeah.
But starting to investigate it and looking at prices, and even if it was just a matter of having a public safety department that, as a liaison with the sheriff, and you put somebody in there that's been to the police academy, I don't care if they're retired or whatever, and you pay them a couple bucks and they walk around town and they take notes like Andre, and he knows everybody, and he just refers it to the sheriff's department. He doesn't have to take any action, but if he comes upon
He
a
does,
crime.
though. He does do a lot. He does
Andre?
a lot, yeah.
Yeah, no, I know that.
Yeah.
I absolutely know that. And I'm not finding fault with that.
I know,
But he's under the umbrella
yeah.
of the sheriff's department. And, you know, it's just like, if somebody doesn't like something that this board's doing, or they like something that this board's doing, and we don't all necessarily agree with it, but they say, oh, you know, the select board did this.
Yeah,
And it's not the case. Anyway, I'll get off the stump.
okay. So are we ready to adjourn?
I am.
Call this meeting adjourned?
Aye.
Aye. All right,